Hey guys, what's up? Dan here with a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at 8 farming strategies. I ran in total 400 maps that were prepared for the next league 3.20 Forbidden Sanctum. I decided to run them in white tier maps, which is gonna allow both the newer players and more experienced players out there to generate anywhere from 200 up to 300 chaos per hour. Welcome to Bare Minimum League Start Edition. For the first farming strategy, as you can see, I decided to go with just bare bones essences, and this would be the Atlas skill tree, right? So fully spec'd into essences and blocking the mechanics that I'm not interested in appearing in my maps, and of course we're gonna spec into Stream of Consciousness, which is gonna give us more essences per map. I was making around 150-200 chaos per hour on average right here. More on that later when we get to the numbers. And with this second farming strategy, I decided to see what would happen if I would also run the maps and complete them up to level 4 Delirium whenever a Delirium would spawn inside the map. I managed to get around 100 chaos bonus from the Delirium encounters, and this would pretty much be the first 2 farming strategies. For our third farming strategy, I decided to try out some legions. As you can see, this would be the loot from 50 tier 3 park maps. However, you're gonna notice that we don't really have a lot of emblems and splinters, so I decided to also run some Legion Scarabs, this time in tier 5 Mud Geyser maps. Our Atlas skill trees for both this farming strategy was this one right here, so we were using 80 points with the Stream of Consciousness setup, and without the Stream of Consciousness setup we were using around the 79 points. But if you're not gonna use Stream of Consciousness, you're gonna have to run a Rusted Legion Scarab, which is gonna cost you an extra 2, maybe 3 chaos per map. I wouldn't really invest in Rusted Legion Scarabs. If they're more expensive, then I would say probably at most 3 chaos per map. So this is pretty much our Atlas skill tree, and we actually managed to make the most amount of currency with the Legion setup. For the 6th farming strategy, I decided to go with Metamorphs, and because they are quite hard, they were ran in tier 1 strand maps. And this would pretty much be the loot. Our Atlas skill tree is this one right here. We are using around 75 points if I'm not mistaken, but more on that later when we get to the spreadsheet. Everything is included in there, and pretty much the same, around 200 up to 300 chaos per hour was the profit that we were generating. For our 6th farming strategy, I decided to go with Delirium, Stream of Consciousness again, but Deliriums are quite hard if you decide to take them past level 4, so they were ran again in tier 1 strand maps. They were quite okay in terms of currency per hour, however they're definitely not the best out of these farming strategies right here. This would be our Atlas skill tree, and as you can see, essences and Deliriums. But the main problem with this farming strategy is, let's say you find a really strong 5 to 6 mod essence, just as you reach the half point of the map, you're not gonna be able to complete it under Delirium, so you're probably gonna have to run the mirror, complete it, and the mirror, and then backtrack, complete the essence, pick up your loot, and then exit the map, which is gonna cut a little bit into your efficiency, right? You're not gonna be able to complete as many maps per hour with this farming strategy compared to the other ones. Strategy number 7, we're gonna go with essences as with the other farming strategies, and we're also gonna add a little bit of Harbingers and Strongboxes for some variety. I decided to run them in tier 4 atolls, so again white tier maps. This is gonna be your Atlas skill tree. As you can see, essences, Strongboxes, and Harbingers, and we were able to generate quite a decent chunk of currency with this Atlas skill tree right here. This is pretty much, I would say, probably one of the better farming strategies. However, I would probably remove the Harbingers since they're really not that worth it in white tier maps, and maybe add something else here. I would probably go with, I would say, maybe Metamorphs. But yes, the Strongboxes are quite nice, and the operative Strongboxes have procced quite a lot, and I was able to generate quite a lot of Rusted Scarabs. In terms of the loot that we're gonna get from the Harbingers, it's really not that great, but you're gonna get quite a lot of alterations, quite a lot of the currencies that you're gonna need at league start. But overall, I would say probably skip the Harbingers, stick to the Strongboxes, and add something else. As for our 8th farming strategy, I decided to go with essences and with rituals. We got a lucky divine drop. We also got a few more divine drops here and there, if I'm not mistaken. I think we dropped 2 or 3 over the course of these 450 maps. And as you can see, this is the loot that I managed to get in 50 maps. This is our Atlas skill tree. We have essences, Stream of Consciousness, and rituals. And for our 9th farming strategy, I decided to go with essences and also with blights. And as you can see, this is pretty much the loot. A few blighted maps. We got quite unlucky with the oils that we didn't manage to extract. So I had 4 items that contain golden oil anointments, and as you can see, I only managed to extract 1 silver oil, so quite unlucky there. However, pretty much the same type of loot that you've been seeing from these other 8-9 strategies. So at the start of this video I mentioned that I ran 8 farming strategies. They are in total 9 if you were to include this Delirium bonus farming strategy, but going in and out the map device and just speed rushing maps, and whenever you find the Delirium, that is when you go and complete the map, is really not gonna be worth it. If a lot of people are gonna do that, there's not gonna be enough maps on the market, and it's also quite obnoxious. So I would say skip this strategy number 2. We have in total 8 viable farming strategies. In and out mapping, just farming for Delirium mirrors in white tier maps is definitely okay in terms of currency per hour. You're still gonna generate around 200 up to 300 chaos per hour, but again, you're gonna waste a lot of time on buying maps and a lot of time on watching loading screens, and you're probably not gonna enjoy playing the game like that. So we have around 450 maps in total here, but out of these 9 farming strategies, only 8 of them would be viable, so don't run the in and out Deliriums. I decided to run them like this to see how many Deliriums I would find over the course of 50 maps, if it's worth it to run the Delirium mirror when you find it inside your map up to level 4, how much currency you're gonna generate, around 50 to 100 chaos over the course of 50 maps. Now what I want you to keep in mind with these farming strategies is that for this past 20 minutes I've been allocating and refunding a lot of points. I'm so dizzy, guys. And there may have been a few mistakes here and there, so for the previous farming strategy I forgot to unallocate the Strongboxes. So as you can see, this is pretty much the Atlas skill tree. You know, it's just a bare bones Atlas skill tree. We're gonna run essences, and if you wanna run legions, spec into the legions. If you wanna run rituals, spec into the rituals. If you wanna run Strongboxes, fully spec into them, and also take the operative Strongboxes. And be careful with these nodes right here. These are gonna block the encounters that you don't want in your maps. So if you plan on running rituals, be careful to not spec into this, because as you can see, maps have no chance to contain rituals. I'm pretty sure that most of you out there understand how stream of consciousness work and how these nodes right here work. So let's run a quick map together, and then we're gonna jump into the spreadsheet. Okay guys, and here we have a tier 5 mud geyser. So how exactly am I generating 200-300 chaos profit per hour? Well, it's pretty much speed, right? So I have a decently fast build, and whenever I enter the map I am going for the high value target, so I don't really bother spending my time with killing trash monsters. I just complete the high value targets. Since we have this Atlas skill tree right here, which has some rituals and some essences, the 3 high value targets are gonna be rituals, essences, and the map boss. Whenever you happen to find Delirium mirror, you're gonna run the Delirium mirror up to around level 4. So let's do just that and see how much currency we're gonna be able to generate in this white tier map. So as you can see, the map is gonna be quite easy. You're not gonna have any issues with this build, which is worth around 100 chaos. The build guide is gonna be up on the channel in around 2 days or so. This is a minion army necromancer. I have been improving this build over the course of 3 leagues or so. We currently have around 2 million DPS without Val Summon Skeletons. With the Val Summon Skeletons, I think we have around 2.5, maybe 3 million DPS. But there's quite a lot of moving pieces. We're running a punishment curse, so the damage is, you know, gonna vary a little bit if the target is on low life or not. But as you can see, we are decently fast. And we're just gonna go for the high value targets, collect the loot that happens to drop. In this case, the high value targets are gonna be Delirium up to level 4, the rituals, the map boss, and the essences. When you happen to find the Delirium mirror, this is probably gonna add an extra 1 minute, 1.5 minutes at most per map. And when you don't find the Delirium mirror, you're gonna notice that you're gonna be able to complete these maps in around 2 minutes, 1.5 to 2 minutes with this build, which is quite nice. You're gonna be able to farm around 20-30 maps per hour. That's gonna be quite a lot of essences. So as you can see, we are completing our final ritual altar here. We need to also find an essence, and we're gonna be done with this map. And now after fully completing the rituals, 4 out of 4, we're gonna find the essence. As you can see, defeat the essence and then get out. I actually found the 2 essences, so this is gonna be quite a lot of currency. Okay, so let's defeat this other essence monster right here. It's gonna be duplicated because it's shrieking. As you can see, triple shrieking, no issues, quite fast. And this is how you make anywhere from 200 up to 300 chaos per hour. Let's see what we get here. A lucky exalt, which I've deferred earlier. So let's take this because this is worth around 10 chaos or so. And let's take the alchemies and get out. So the name of the game is high value targets, speed and efficiency. Go inside the map, complete the map only if you happen to find a Delirium mirror and take it only up to level 4. If you don't find the Delirium mirror, just go inside the map, defeat your high value targets, which is gonna be the map boss, the essence, and also the league mechanic that you're gonna be using mostly to spice things up a bit and give you a little bit of variety, because although running essences is probably the best farming strategy, essences and nothing else, you're gonna get quite bored by doing that, so adding a little bit of legions, a little bit of deliriums, a little bit of rituals is gonna give you that nice change of pace, which is definitely quite needed when you're farming maps in 1.5 2 minutes. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet because there's quite a lot of numbers to go through. Okay boys, and here would be our numbers. We are in the spreadsheet, we have a lot of farming strategies, 8, maybe 9, but in and out deliriums you should probably not do that. You're gonna be spending your time just looking at loading screens. I would say we have 8 viable farming strategies that you can run in white tier maps. So how exactly am I coming up with these numbers? I can't really know what prices we're gonna have at the start of the 3.20 league. However, what I can do is go on PoE.ninja on day 5 and take the prices that we have in the 3.19 league. So as you can see, one divine was 125 hues, and all of these items that you see here have been individually price checked on PoE.ninja on day 5. With the first farming strategy, we were making around 200 chaos per hour, and if we were to run the deliriums as well and run them only to level 4, so keeping it casual, and easy for white tier maps, we were able to make in total around 300 chaos profit per hour. Please keep in mind we were quite lucky with this batch right here, and I would say that probably a more realistic number would be around 250 chaos per hour. For the 50 Legion Stream of Consciousness, as you can see, we have 300 chaos profit per hour, and if you happen to drop a divine, which I did happen to drop, you're gonna make around 500 chaos per hour. As you can see, this is a lot of price checking that was done here. We have a lot of stuff, a lot of incubators, splinters, scarabs, a lot of currencies, essences, and quite a lot of the shrieking essences as well. For the 50 legions that we ran with scarabs without using the stream of consciousness, as you can see, we're really not making as much currency per hour. So what actually happened here is when you happen to run a legion every time you run a map, you're gonna increase your average time that you spend per map. And we actually got a little bit more lucky with the type and the quantity of loot that we got in the previous run, so that over the course of 2 hours or so, which it took to run these maps right here, 2 hours and a half to be exact, you're gonna notice that your profit per hour is gonna slightly decrease. So the legions with the stream of consciousness setup seem to be the slightly better option, and also if you're gonna run them with the scarabs, you're gonna have to pay an extra 100 chaos for 50 maps. So anywhere from 200-300 chaos per hour with legions, I would say, is probably fair, probably closer to 300 without including the divine orbs that we dropped. For the 50 metamorphs, as you can see, we made around 255 chaos profit per hour. A lot of price checking again, right? PoE.ninja day 5 prices, everything that you see here. And for the 50 deliriums that we fully spec, as you can see, 255 chaos profit per hour. However, I would say that this strategy is probably not worth it because you're gonna have to backtrack a little bit, and I don't really enjoy that type of playstyle. I just run to go in, complete my maps, get out. For the Harbingers, Strongboxes and Essences, as you can see, 244 chaos per hour. I was expecting quite a lot more from this farming strategy, but the Harbingers are really not that rewarding. So, around 250 chaos per hour again. And for the rituals, as you can see, we have anywhere from 200 up to 300 chaos per hour, and you know, this is the currency per hour without including the divine orb that we dropped, and this is with the divine orb that we dropped included. And for the final farming strategy, which would be the Blight, as you can see, around 200 chaos profit per hour. We got a little bit unlucky because we failed when we tried to extract some golden oils. We only managed to extract 1 silver oil, but we used around 4 extractors, and you know, this is pretty much around the 14 chaos at league start. And this would pretty much be the you know, end of the video, I should say. We have quite a lot of farming strategies. As you can see, the best one seems to be the legions, right, which are gonna allow you to generate up to 500 chaos per hour if you happen to drop the occasional divine orb. But please keep in mind that this could have been a slightly more lucky run than usual. As you can see, anywhere from 200 up to 300 chaos per hour with pretty much any of these farming strategies right here, you're gonna be able to generate at league start in white tier maps. I hope that this video helped you out a little bit. If you're interested in the build that was used to farm these strategies, then stop by the channel tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. The build guide should be up by then. Thank you for watching, good luck as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.